Welcome to episode 9 of A Wild Podcast Has Appeared, the official Pokemon podcast of Comicbook.com. I am one of your hosts, Jim Viscardi, and with me, as always, is Megan Peters and Christian Hoffer. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
We've done this 9 weeks in a row.
Crazy.
I'm proud of us.
You know, I'm proud of us,
too. 8 more episodes than I thought we'd get.
Well, that's a pessimistic way to view things.
Thank you for having no faith. Anyway, A Wild Podcast Has Appeared is a weekly podcast, comes out every Thursday, and you guessed it, we cover all things Pokemon. Trading card games, console games, Pokemon Go, Pokemon stuff, you name it. It's got Pokemon in front of it. We're talking about it. We break up the show in this way. We do a bunch of news up front, and at the very middle, we take a little short break. We come back, we do a deep dive on something that usually gets us fired up, or, for something that big that may have happened over the last week. And then Christian gives us the fan favorite segment of the show, the Pokemon Fact of the Week. And we also review your reviews of our show at the very end of the show, where if we read your review, and it's 5 stars on iTunes, and we read it on the air, we're going to send you a Comicbook.com t-shirt.
Look at that.
It's pretty cool.
Don't you
and
like
you
free
get,
clothes?
You get free stuff for listening to the show.
Come on, free clothes.
And it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
And our shirts are pretty good.
10 out of 10 softness.
We still got to send some to Christian. We still have not done that. We'll probably do that.
We'll
probably do that this week. Sorry, Christian. Anyway, some big-ish news on the Pokemon Go front this week. There is a tease for Team Rocket, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, this one is something that fans have been clamoring for a while. So at Pokemon Go Fest 2 weekends ago, they had like this photobomb thing where, part of the special event that was there was you had to go and try to find Pokemon that photobombed your photos. And eventually it all led up to you getting the mythical Pokemon Jirachi. However, at the end of every day, people who are taking photos using their AR camera feature would notice Team Rocket members in their camera. And they always kind of look surprised, like, oh my God, you found me. They didn't do anything with that we know of. They haven't made any announcements about it or anything like that. We do still have 2 Pokemon Go Fests to go later this summer, so it's possible we won't hear anything about it until those wrap up. But the other interesting part was that the latest update contained a code for purified Pokemon. I don't know.
So this is totally brand new. I have no idea what purified Pokemon are, so you're going to have to explain.
So purified Pokemon is not a brand new concept, actually. It first popped up in Pokemon Coliseum, which was a GameCube game in which players had to purify shadow Pokemon, which were Pokemon that had their emotions removed. So the running theory is that somehow this Team Rocket event or tease could tie into this entire purified Pokemon content. Or it could be nothing. I mean,
also an option.
Let's be honest. The Pokemon Go people know that we look into their code. They straight up told me that last year that, we know that you guys dig into stuff, and don't be surprised if further down the road we just toss stuff in there to, mess with you guys. So it could all be nothing. But what?
That's shady. I mean, I get it, but whatever.
Now, you know what else is shady? Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
I don't feel like we're going to be starting a podcast on that game.
Oh, man, what a shame.
Yeah.
What a shame.
It makes us just, even the most devout Pokemon Go hater has to appreciate a little bit more in comparison now.
I downloaded it and didn't even get past finishing making my avatar. That's how frustrated I sort of got with the startup process.
It's just so clunky.
Yeah, it's a very messy game. It's very cluttered. There's a lot going on. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I don't particularly want to capture Hagrid 15 times.
What?
Whatever.
Really? I will say this, though, and then we can stop talking about Harry Potter. But there is a an animation in the game. So like when you're driving or you're going quickly in the game, it does the same thing. You can't use it like Pokemon Go.
Right.
But your avatar is like riding on a broomstick. And now I'm just super angry that there's not an animation in Pokemon Go where we're on our bike, like from the games. Like, why are we not on a bicycle? Why are we running? I know there's running shoes in Pokemon, obviously. That's a thing, but I really do kind of now want a bike because they had all the different bikes you could get. Yeah. And now I'm upset.
That was a really fantastic way to bring it all back around to Pokemon. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm skilled in it. We've been doing this 9 episodes now. If I couldn't at least do a solid segue, what have I been doing?
Okay, but Megan brings up a pretty good point. So it's interesting because Wizards Unite introduces basically a lot of junk, right? And it's all stuff that theoretically, if they wanted to bring into Pokemon Go, they could.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you would think that they've learned a ton of lessons from Pokemon Go, and so Wizards Unite would theoretically be a better game than Pokemon Go that then they could experiment with, and then, features could be sort of tossed back and forth a bit. Perfect example is the broomstick when you're in a car thing. Like, that may be the only redeeming thing that comes from Wizards Unite into Pokemon Go if we get, like, a bike of some sort. But I want to see, and it's funny, and I'm going to find a way to bring this all back to Team Rocket, because I want to see more of the, like, Team Rocket, or there's more humanoid-ish type stuff in Wizards Unite that I would love to see brought over, I think, to Pokemon Go. And, with things like potentially a Team Rocket thing, feels like maybe that's something where they'll go. But I don't know. It's just
the big thing that's missing from Pokemon Go at this point is there's no story. I mean, even the main series games, have some sort of plot line. They're usually paper thin. You don't really pay too much attention to them, but a plot line is there. And Pokemon Go, there's none of that.
It's still really tied to just research.
Yeah, it's really like, listen, Pokemon are in the real world. That's it. That's the story. And that's fine. And while Harry Potter Wizards Unite tries to do way too much out of the gate, with Pokemon Go, the issue was after that initial gimmick was over, people were like, okay, where's the content? And they've added that content over time. Like, I think that Pokemon Go is a really great game to play like 15, 20 minutes a day.
Yep.
While you're out and about. Like, I really enjoyed the amount of content I get for a free-to-play game. But I really wish there was just a little bit more, like something that would like actively draw me in. Because even the events are like, okay, Articuno's at all gyms. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I'm going to go and do a couple of gyms until I catch myself an Articuno. And then I'm going to not think about Pokemon Go for the rest of the day. But if there was like some event, like Team Rocket is invading all the gyms and you have to go and clean them all out, that something that would actively get me to go from gym to gym or participate in a group to go and do that. So this is something that the fan base has kind of like asked for a while, since back in 2016. I mean, that's how far back people like bring us Team Rocket. So I'm optimistic that Niantic is listening to us and that they're going to do something kind of cool as we enter now year 4 of this game.
Would you rather... Now, I know Pokemon Go trades on a lot of nostalgia value with the game. I'm almost surprised that if they do go down this route, that they do not give us a different, like a Pokemon Go specific gang, as opposed to bringing back Team Rocket or using any of the other ones from other those games.
The spin-off games that we've seen so far, like, for instance, Pokemon Coliseum, as an example, all use new games. So I'd be a little bit surprised that they got to use Team Rocket, but then again, this is a game that also has Ash Hat Pikachu.
That's true.
So I think that they're a little, and they run active promotions with the anime and the movies and stuff like that. So I think that they have a little bit more leeway to tap into some of that more nostalgic, classic elements of the game.
Could
Like, I
this
don't
be-
think we'll ever see like Giovanni
Right.
pop up, but I think that the Team Rocket name, like, why not? Sure.
Could this be building to something for Mewtwo Strikes Back?
I mean, it could, because obviously Team Rocket does have a presence in that film. I think more likely for something like that, it'll probably be like T-shirts or, special like gift boxes, promotions like that. Or you'll just see like a raise in those spawn rates for the Pokemon that are featured in those films. I'm still a fan of them putting in brand new code for the cloned Pokemon, because I would do a lot to get me a clone Charizard, because or clone Pikachu. I mean, ideally, I think with this like Team Rocket situation, like what I would want is like some like full blown story where like the research gets taken over and Team Rocket's trying to like steal the research, and you have to do like all these like quests to like stop that happening. Do I think Niantic will put the effort into a story like that off the bat without them having tested something like this before? No.
Well, Christian, you played Ingress, right?
Yeah.
Does Ingress have story?
Yeah, they have it's more of a continuous story. I mean, that game is built on a storyline where there's basically two competing factions. One is this like, enlightened group, and another is a more insurgent territory. And so there's bits of storyline that tacks into it. I think the anime that just came out on Netflix probably has more storyline than
Let's hope.
than what they had in the game. But at the same time, the other thing they did was they would occasionally do these like live news updates where it would launch events where they'd be like, oh, here's what's going on. And that would kind of build into stuff, which we haven't really seen too much in Pokemon Go, not to the same extent. But, I think that
So this could be potentially a Pokemon Company thing and not a Niantic thing.
Yeah, it's possible. I think that for all of Pokemon Go's flaws, they do know what they're doing when it comes to the fan base and kind of like the slow and steady build. And so I think Pokemon Company, if they were going to interfere, they would have done so a long time ago.
Yeah, I think probably they're just wanting. I mean, as much as we hate it because we are Pokemon like fanatics, we want more, we want more, we want more. There are very casual gamers that I know who are totally satisfied with what the product Pokemon Go is, and they don't want all that extra stuff. If they wanted that extra stuff, they would play the Pokemon console games, or I mean, like the handheld console games. And they don't play those handheld console games because they don't want it. They don't want that story. They have zero interest in that. But they will absolutely love to play Pokemon Go for 30 minutes a day, and that's it. So I think it's a balance between not wanting to alienate those people who we three have trouble relating to, because we're just over here like, give me more Team Rocket. But while also trying to add in new elements to keep these kind of hardcore gamers around. It's a tough balance. But of all the companies who I can think will handle it gracefully is the Pokemon Company. It's just what time frame will it be on? So fingers crossed, because I want me some Team Rocket drama.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. And I think, they're starting to run out of Pokemon to add to this game. I mean, we're over the halfway point. They've mentioned multiple times they have a long-term plan for Pokemon Go, and I think that Team Rocket could be a part of that.
All right.
Cloned Pokemon. Coming back to it.
Moving on. To something that has popped back up that I loved when it first came out, and I found myself. I told Megan yesterday, I could not stop hitting the random button. Pokefusions.
Bless.
Right.
Bless.
Chris, why don't you give us the background on Pokefusions, and then we'll go into it.
So a few years ago, I can't even remember how long ago this was. To
Feels
be honest,
like forever.
There are several websites which have these like Pokefusions, where it basically takes elements from two Pokemon and combines them into either something delightful or something horrifying. So this has been around forever. Occasionally you see it pop up, like, if you follow a lot of Pokemon accounts on Twitter, this has never like gone away. But for whatever reason, there was a meme that went viral, and it was like something like, the first thing that you pop up on your Pokefusion is your new government-sponsored starter Pokemon. And so people went nuts with it over the weekend. And we got a lot of weird and horrifying things that came out of it.
So the main one, the one that kind of kicked it all off, basically just took the sprites of the first 150
Yep.
from I can't
It was
remember
like
which
Pokemon
game.
Black and White. I was about to say it was one of the older ones because
Yeah. That were colorized, and basically the first Pokemon would be the face and the color, and the second Pokemon you chose would be the body.
Yeah.
And holy moly, there are some horrifying ones that I've seen out there.
Anything that involves Starmie, like it's got the jewel for a head. It all looks like something out of like H.P. Lovecraft. It's freaky as hell.
I thought it looked like something different that I can't say in order to preserve our safe rating.
There's some like all the ones I will say there are some like terrifyingly cool ones. Like all the ones that I've seen with like Marowak, they're like so cool because it's just like I saw like a Aerodactyl Marowak combination. It was just like a completely fossilized like but moving like living Aerodactyl, and I was like, that's so cool. I want that.
A lot of the ones where you put Jigglypuff's face on stuff were a lot of fun. I also loved because you also get names for these too, and if you use a Hitmonlee face and a Kingler body, you got Hitler.
Oh.
Christian just put them together, and the look on his face when it connected. I know there's a bunch of those like that.
Yeah.
Like some that are absolutely NSFW. Obviously there are a lot of ones where you involve Lickitung, are forever creepy.
Nightmare fuel.
I liked trying to take the starters and give them like different colors based off the other like starter Pokemon. So like, what would a plant type Charizard look like? So that was a lot of fun. I like also like putting a lot of heads onto Mewtwo's body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just kind of one of those anthropomorphic Pokemon that work. I will say, probably my favorite that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of like fan art for, was was like Venusaur body, but Dewdong's coloring and face because no, it's actually really cute. Like everyone was talking about like that. This shouldn't work. Like it shouldn't work. But like so much fan art has come up, and it's basically this little derpy looking Venusaur with like a really cute round face. He's just smiling the whole time, and I'm like that. That is my government starter Pokemon. I don't even know. I can't remember what I was assigned to. It was something stupid. But that Venusaur, I don't even know what his name is.
My first one was really, really dumb. You ready for this? It was an Abra head on a Kakuna body.
That's just upsetting. That's so upsetting.
So sad.
Listen, you would be one of those trainers that hang out at like Route 2 just to get their butts handed to them by every single like trainer that passes by. Some people are born to be the winners.
I mean, look, psychic bug Pokemon that I can just use Harden over and over and over again.
Levitate yourself and scare everyone.
Yeah.
Did you do it, Hofford? Did you get one?
Oh yeah, of course. I got the head of a Bulbasaur and the body of a Bulbasaur.
What luck?
Yeah.
So what was the name of that Pokemon?
Bulbasaur.
That sounds fake, but okay.
I don't remember what I did. I don't hold any stock.
You've got your computer in front of you right now. Pull it up while Megan and I vamp, because one of the other ones that I saw that also has great combinations is using the Snorlax body.
Yeah.
But also using Fearo's face on anything is terrifying. Fearow and Zapdos were very, very like weird, startling looking things. All right, Christian, who do you got?
This one came up with the face of Rhydon and the body of Nidorina. So it was Ryrina, and it actually looks pretty not
So it looks
terrible.
like Nidoking, basically.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a narwhal with legs.
Oh, all right.
I
You know,
also
because it's got the horn but it's got this like gray body. You know, it's got Nidorina's ears, but other than that, like I said, it kind of looks like a narwhal with legs, or a female Rhydon. Really.
naturally. I will say this: some people took it too far. Way too far. And there was like one Twitter account that like popped up and I think I wanted to block it, but I was too scared because I didn't even want to acknowledge it existed. But they just went through and they did the body of Eevee, but with every Pokemon. And they were like, what would happen if Eevee was like having eggs with every kind of Pokemon? And I was like, I don't want to know this. I don't want to know this. This has officially gone too far. We have taken technology too far. And then that's when I quickly closed my browser and went outside. And reminded myself.
One of the ones I really loved was Laptops, which is the face of Lapras and the body of like the Bootops. And so I saw some fan art where it's just like, oh, there's Laptops. You know, he's just your typical corporate Pokemon. Like with his giant claws in a cubicle somewhere. Like, awesome. I relate to that concept.
I spiritually connect with that Pokemon.
Another one that if you want to make some horrifying creations of is using an Omastar face on anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Weird tentacle faces.
Oh, just had to say that. So anyway,
and on that note,
yeah, go make your own and let us know. Send them to us. You know, you can on Twitter, and we'll share the heck out of those, even the scary ones,
especially the scary ones,
especially the upsetting ones, but also the adorable ones. Yeah. So our next news item is a pretty cool sociological experiment.
Yes,
there are a lot of Pokemon, a lot.
Yeah, over 800 now.
Over 800. Someone on Reddit wanted to find out if every Pokemon was somebody's favorite and put out a poll and said, tell us who your favorite Pokemon is. And out of the over 800, only 4 sad, lonely souls were not chosen. Christian, who were they?
They were Silcoon, Gothita, Electric, and Yungoos.
Justice for Yungoos.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about the lack of that Yungoos wasn't somebody's favorite, but maybe his hairstyle has turned a lot of people off in today's.
But you would have thought at least there is someone who would have picked that one.
Like, creature is terrifying, obviously. Like, I would not want to be. It's like the most terrifying yappy steroid-laden poodle ever. That attitude, but it's cute. It kind of looks like a deranged ferret. Like, I don't know. I was surprised to see that one. Silcoon, though.
Yeah,
I'm fine with. I always get so annoyed when that thing pops up in a game. I'm just like,
poor
nope,
Silcoon.
I can't do it today. I can't deal with you today.
I mean,
go ahead.
The poll was interesting. I mean, there were 52,000 participants. It was very skewed towards the first 4 generations, which makes sense because of Reddit demographics.
Right.
So I wouldn't call this a scientific poll by any stretch of the imagination. No. But it did, prove something pretty important, that Bulbasaur is among the best Pokemon of all time. So
but where did
I'm
it
okay
rank?
with this.
Number 4.
Didn't even make the top 3, Hoffer.
I mean, it's because, it's Reddit, so it is still largely sucks.
Do you have the list in front of you? Of like
I have
the
top 5.
Okay, what are the top 5?
Charizard was the most popular.
Naturally.
Followed by Gengar, Arcanine, Bulbasaur, and I actually put Arcanine twice in this article, which, oops. So let me pull up. Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised Pikachu's not up there, or Eevee, considering those are like the mascots for the franchise at this point.
So there are of of all the Pokemon, actually. So there are 3 Pokemon that I will stan all the time.
Okay.
Gengar, Golem, and Electabuzz. Big fans of those 3. But don't
such a random list.
What?
Like I get Gengar, like Golem, okay, and then you've got like freaking Electabuzz. Like
I love Electabuzz, man.
Who needs a phone charger when you have Electabuzz
so
at
much.
your party?
I love Electabuzz so much.
I've never been able to get into Electabuzz or Magmar. They both kind of look like, these like frat dudes who
Oh my gosh.
only in fire and electric form.
So
Like
I am shocked that Gengar is up that high.
I'm not. Once again, it was the original like edgelord Pokemon. So all the creepy kids in grade school,
I
who
would have
grew
thought
up
Haunter would
fine,
be
upstanding
Gengar.
adult.
Yeah,
I always thought Haunter was more the fan favorite of those than Gengar.
Yeah, I know. I always preferred Haunter to Gengar.
But Gengar was actually edgy. I mean, that was the actual creepy one. Haunter's, he's kind of like smiling. He's got his hands. He got really defanged because of the anime. But
Yeah.
Gengar maintained that like kind of like darkness to it. He was the original dark Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
That and Mewtwo. Mewtwo's the other like original edgelord Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing too, where like Mewtwo and Pikachu not in the top 5.
Well, Pikachu, again, there's not a lot of like 9-year-olds on Reddit.
True.
So that's the reason why Pikachu's not farther up the list. Mewtwo cracked the top 10. It came in number 9, and that's because Eevee's always, or not Mewtwo, Eevee. I'm sorry.
Hoffer, I have a very important question.
Yes.
Where is Vaporeon on this list?
Let me pull it up here. 1 second.
If my Vaporeon is not at least within the top 20, Reddit and this city has failed me, and I'm gonna have to go full Oliver Queen to get revenge.
It is 53rd.
What?
It's 52nd. It's 52nd. It is
Out of
right
800, that's
below
not bad.
Growlithe and right above Mew.
Okay.
Below Growlithe. Wow.
It is also below Pikachu. I'm sorry to say.
See, I can accept that because much like Jim has his favorites, my 3 like forever will always catch or evolve is Vaporeon, Arcanine, and Ninetales. So I got my Arcanine up there so I can deal with Growlithe.
And
I can be
Ninetales
okay with
is
that.
16th.
So
Ninetales was 16th.
Yeah.
there we go.
But-
Okay, justice for
Yeah,
Ninetales. So
But, Bulbasaur's number 4. It beat out all the other starter Pokemon. So
Where does the
suck
next original starter show up on the list?
Squirtle's at 14 and
Squirtle v. Charmander?
yeah,
Yeah, Charmander's down at 32, but I think that, a lot of that vote got taken up by Charizard, who's number 1.
Okay.
I mean, like, I love Bulbasaur, but I will admit that Charizard looks a lot cooler than Venusaur. Like, Bulbasaur is just... The Ash's Bulbasaur had the right idea. Don't evolve.
just stay cute.
You just stay adorable and loyal and not froggy.
What is it about Ash's Pokemon that just don't... They just want to stay children forever?
Well, they saw what happened to Charizard, and we're just
And Butterfree also. Butterfree
Yeah.
just Butterfree just left. Butterfree started a family and left.
Scoped out.
Yeah, everyone else is just like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine. Just being here.
All right, well, we got to move along. When we get back, Christian was at the North American Championship for Pokemon. And we're going to talk about that and his hands-on experience with Sword and Shield when we get back. Christian, was it everything you had hoped?
It was. It was a fun experience. Sword and Shield was freaking fantastic. It was a total surprise. They didn't announce that they were doing a hands-on beforehand. So, like, I walked into the convention center where this was taking place. I was like, oh, what's that over there? And then I saw, like, Sword and Shield, and it, like, took me, like, a solid, like, 10 seconds for me to realize, like, oh my god, this is the actual
games are
demo
here.
of Sword and Shield. And so, like, my wife and child and my mother-in-law were with me. And I literally was like, well, I'm going to stand in line and wait for this, so you guys have fun. Just over the line. And my wife was actually just coming off ankle surgery, so she's, like, on a scooter. And she's like, oh, okay, well, you have fun. We're going to look for Pikachu, I guess. Yeah, so I had my priorities straight.
So tell us about it.
Yeah.
Is it...
Give me the full details.
Yeah.
I'm over here like salivating for details.
So the demo was it was the same demo that they got at E3.
At E3.
So it was Ness's Gem. The first part about it was you had a little puzzle. So they're keeping some of the gym puzzles. This one was they had giant like Mario pipes full of water that were spraying down on certain areas that you couldn't pass, and so you had to find the switches to turn those off. while battling different Pokemon along
I
the way.
hated the trainer puzzles that involved like teleporters.
Yeah.
That send you to like random ass parts of the gym map. I hated that. But anyway, continue.
So that was the first part. You had, I think there was 3 different gym battles, or 3 different trainers that you battled. One had Impidimp. I used Yamper the entire time.
So
Is he
what?
really a good boy?
Oh, he's the best boy.
So who did they give you as a team for for Pokemon to use in battle?
They gave you they basically gave you all the new Pokemon that we've seen so far. So they gave you the 3 starters.
Okay.
They gave you Yamper, they gave you Wooloo, and they gave you Corviknight.
Is Corviknight like super badass?
What was that?
Was Corviknight super badass?
I only used it once. I mean, he's a huge Pokemon compared to the other ones. I saw somebody actually Dynamax them, Corviknight, and he was just huge. Just a big freaking metal bird that just blowing up stuff.
So you told us that there is more to Dynamax than we first originally thought.
Yeah, so a lot of people were just like, "Oh, this just makes your Pokemon big." And it's like, yes, but no. So one interesting thing, and you didn't really get a chance to dig into it, but when there's an actual
Statistic?
in the Pokemon screen, there's something that says like Dynamax potential or Dynamax level or something like that, and there's actually like a little bar that shows like how powerful the Dynamax can be, I guess. Like it wasn't well explained, but it seems like, the different Pokemon had different Dynamax levels. So I don't know if this is something that you can train up, or if certain Pokemon are just better at Dynamaxing than others.
Well, could it also kind of be like, in Pokemon Go, like just some Pokemon start with a different, CP level or whatnot?
Well, those are levels. That's just a really simplified way of showing off their level.
Well, right, but doesn't but can't you like some Pokemon at the same point?
Yeah, like you're talking like the individual values and the different stats. That's possible. That's possible. Like I said, I didn't really get, they were kind of rushing us along. I only had about 10-15 minutes with it. So I was kind of like trying to absorb as much as I can. But I did notice that it seemed pretty interesting. So that was something. And the other thing is that when you Dynamax, all your moves become Dynamax moves. But they don't become like set Dynamax moves. Like, so all the grass moves become it's I think it was called like Max Overgrowth or something like that. So not only did it change that move into basically a giant grass attack, which also transforms the field into a grassy field. Depending on the base strength of the original move, that determines the actual strength of that of the Dynamax move. It's kind of like Z moves in that way, where if you Z moved, if you used a weak Z move, if your move was originally weak and you used it as a Z move, it wouldn't be as powerful as if you use something like Hyper Beam.
Okay.
So I only got to do 2 Dynamax moves. Well, one was done to me and one was done to I did one, and they both had different effects. I got hit with I think it was called like Max. But it was a Max Rock move, but it turned everything into a Sandstorm, and then I did Max Growth. But the interesting thing was that those both stacked. So like a Sandstorm came and hit me, so that created the Sandstorm effect, and also the grassy field also stayed in effect, which I think that can happen in the normal games, but I have to go back and check because usually there's only one weapon position at a time. So that was kind of interesting.
Nice.
Well, how did it look? Did it look gorgeous?
It looked. I mean, the demos and the Twitter videos and all that stuff do not do it justice. Like looking at it on a big screen, this is by far the best looking Pokemon game we've ever gotten. I mean, it looks even better than Pokemon Let's Go.
I'm so
the lighting looks better. The non-Pokemon characters look so fantastic. Like Nessa, like everything's so smooth. Like like Nessa had a different animation for her Dynamax than what my character's Dynamax thing was. So when she like Dynamaxed it, Like she had an entirely different animation with how she threw her Dynamax ball compared to when I took mine and threw the Dynamax ball. And like, we got like full animations for when people win and when people lose. My Pokemon celebrated with me when I won, which is kind of like
Cool.
what they did in Pokemon Let's Go.
Mm-hmm.
Pikachu or Eevee, kind of giving you a high five. So like it's a lot better looking than people give it credit for. Anyone who says, "Oh, Pokemon Coliseum or Pokemon Stadium had better animations than this," they're totally full of it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. They're totally full of it. This is easily the best Pokemon game, best looking Pokemon game that we will get. Like, it's going to blow everyone away. And like when you look at it, like actually experience it, you get why when they're saying like, "Hey, we didn't have enough time to load up the graphics for all 900 forms of Pokemon." You kind of get it, because when you see like just the difference between this and Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, like it's night and day. Like
Nice.
You'll never go back to a 3DS game after this.
So did you stay to watch the tournament at all, or?
Only a little bit. I watched one. I watched. I went on Friday, so it was the opening day. So this was the round robin. But I did get to see the guy who eventually won the Masters participate, whose name is Wolf Blick, and he's actually the guy who he's the first person to win one of every major type of tournament. So he's won an international. He's won worlds before. He's won the national level, and he's won a regional level, and he's the first person to ever do all four. And people kind of thought he was, I don't want to say washed up, but he's been on the scene for a while, and he had a rough start to the season. And so he ran a Celestelia, the Ultra Beast, Stela. He ran that and ended up winning with it. And this year's format is kind of like anything goes. So, we were seeing like Mega Rayquazas and, Ultra Beast going at it. I mean, this is kind of like your heavyweight division. There's no limitations whatsoever. So seeing him win it was pretty cool. He was one of the first people that I kind of followed on the competitive scene. So it was neat getting to see him win. So I watched a little bit of it. I didn't get to stay too long. I had my 4-year-old. My wife was coming off ankle surgery that took place literally earlier that day.
Yikes.
So we've been
That devotion, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had our priorities straight. Like she was the one who like came out of her anesthesia and was like, "Let's go to the Pokemon tournament."
Was there anything special for Pokemon Go or?
Pokken. Please tell me about Pokken.
They didn't have anything special for Pokemon Go. You could get a special Pokemon for the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I forget which one it was. I think it was a Gastrodon, but I could be mistaken there. I didn't bring my 3DS with me, so I didn't grab it. They actually had a Pokemon Center at this
cool.
year. So that was cool. I picked up a few things. Including the Bulbasaur that's behind me on this side.
Oh,
beautiful.
So I got one of those sitting cuties, and there's a Mewtwo GX gallery figure that's behind me.
Oh, cool.
Which that one was pretty cool too. So they had a lot of cool stuff. I mean, it was pretty small. Like it was only like a maybe 10 by 20 space.
So that's one of those like new Beanie Baby type?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
that's one of the new Beanie Babies. So they had like 4 or 5 designs of those. They had a lot of plushes. You could buy like a $250 plush of Pikachu, which is like the size of my son. He was not a fan of that. He ended up coming away with what he refers to as a baby Pikachu, which is like maybe like this big. It's like even tinier than like the usual Pokemon plushes of Pikachu. Like he's got 3 Pikachu plushes plus a Pikachu Libre, and now he has baby Pikachu.
Perfect.
Which he's been inseparable.
That Pikachu army.
Yeah, he's already got it. Trust me.
Nice.
But the weird thing was he was scared of the Pikachu mascot. Like
same thing happened with my daughter and Pikachu. We only got a picture with Eevee because she was scared of the giant Pikachu.
His explanation for me was that that Pikachu would not fit in his bed.
Aww. I will say this though, when Worlds was at Nashville and I was there, as I'm wearing my shirt from that last year.
Yeah, I saw that.
I got to talk with the handlers of the mascots, and like the Pokemon Company is, and the organizers of these events for nationals and Worlds and international, they are so strict with who is in the mascots. I mean, not only like the size, I mean, obviously there's a certain height they need to be, but like the personality, like the people who were at Worlds last year in the Pikachu and Eevee costume were the first and second place winners of like the international mascot like championships of that year. Like they were the crop of like creme de la creme of mascots.
These were the best of the best,
like
Pikachu costume wearers.
Yeah, they like flew them out. Like they were like
insane.
Prize mascot, professionals. And I was like,
I'll never forget that video of all of the Pikachus dancing, and I guess what were inflatable costumes.
Yeah.
And then the one that deflates and immediately gets like taken out by just like suits.
Like the worst part of that is like what happens in that video. Sorry, tangent. The person who first gets up is one of the costume alteration, like the people who are in charge of overseeing the outfit. So they were going to try to fix it. The other people who then tackled him were tackling that person because they thought they were trying to take out Pikachu. So then Pikachu just got taken out. And I was like, y'all need a better system of identification. But anyways, I digress.
Oh, all right. Well, it sounds like you had fun. Sounds like Sword and Shield is going to be just as good as we hope it will be. And Megan and I are obviously seething with jealousy. So
yeah, well, this is just revenge for you guys got hands-on on Pokemon Let's Go last year. That's true. Yeah, so you guys got your hands on that early, so it was my time to
Always, of course.
All right. Before we get on out of here, we need to come up with like a jingle or something to intro the fact of the week.
Poke fact.
Yeah.
That's it. We're gonna
we're just gonna clip that out.
We're gonna isolate that audio, put it on repeat, put some auto tune.
All right, Christian, what do you got for us this week?
Okay, so this one is not a creepy one. So there is a generation of starter Pokemon with a very specific aesthetic design behind their final evolutions, and they are based on the ideas of the three main Pokemon demographics, namely Japan, China, and the West. Do you know which starter Pokemon those are?
Like in my head, being like, wait. China. No.
Oh.
So, Megan, actually, the anime vertical covered part of this answer. This came from an old interview back in that was done in 2011 and was recently translated. So the Gen 5 starters, Superior, Embor, and for the life of me, I'm forgetting Oshawott, Empoleon. Or no, not Empoleon. I can't. It's the Seal Samurai.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up now because this is going to drive me nuts. Samurai. Of course, it's literally a samurai seal. Of course, it would be named Samurai. So the aesthetics of those are based off of they wanted to show off how culturally diverse the Unova region was. So the starters all come from a different, distinct aesthetic. So as we said, Samurai is based off a Japanese samurai. Embor is supposed to they imagined him as a character from a very classic Chinese folktale called The Chinese Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And that character is called Zhang Fei, and he was like this very famous Chinese general. And like if you look at a statue of this guy, it's like, oh my god, it's Embor as a human. But you'll see like he's got these Embor's got like the very distinctive symbols around his stomach and chest, and it's a very Chinese kind of aesthetic. And then the last one, Superior, is supposed to be the kind of this graceful knight, and they actually mentioned that Superior was from they kind of got this idea that was from like the Rose of Versailles, which is a really famous Japanese manga anime.
Oh,
like this graceful knight.
Yeah, it all makes perfect sense.
I missed the context of this because I wrote an article. We wrote an article last week about the Rose of Versailles, but I was so focused on that anime. I was like, oh my gosh, I just missed the rest of the context.
Which it kind of made me laugh that, of the three, they're like, Oshawott going to turn into the samurai, and, Embor's going to be this really famous Chinese historical figure, and Superior is going to be the Rose of Versailles, because that's what we think of when we think of, European Western culture.
I love it.
I like that. Why the heck not?
I'd rather than pick that than like Code Geass or something.
Yeah,
jeez.
I say it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
For us. Like give me the Rose of Versailles.
Yeah. High school double D, anyone?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I never would have even thought of that. That those are supposed to represent distinct, cultures. Until until they spell it out, and then you're like, oh my god, this is so obvious.
Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to know.
That's a good one.
Poke fact of the week.
Thanks, Christian.
You're welcome.
If you want to listen to more Pokemon facts every week, subscribe to the show. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, wherever a podcast can be found, you can find a Wild Podcast has appeared. And I think also, if you want to listen to our previous Pokemon facts, in addition to all of the great news and banter that we bring each week, go back and listen to some old episodes. I know some folks have come in late, went back, listened to the rest just to catch up, and now are here with us on the ride moving forward. So I highly suggest that. New episodes come out every Thursday, wherever you can get those podcasts. And so we look forward to hearing from you. If you want, hit us up on Twitter. You can find me at Jim Biscardi.
I'm on Twitter at MeganPetersCB.
And I am at Seehofer Cbus.
So you can let us know what you think of our episodes. But before we go, we're going to do one very important thing.
Yes.
We're going to read some reviews. If we read your review, Christian's got them ready. Email me, editor at Comicbook.com, and we will get a Comicbook.com t-shirt out to you post-haste. Christian,
okay,
hit us up.
So this is from somebody named Shuriko Revived, and it said, I had an awesome time listening to your podcast because it was full of really cool facts about Pokemon. I know that most people might say stuff like that because there are many Pokemon fans, and that I am just one of them. I like that you guys have a sense of humor and that you have separate opinions. By the way, I'm a 12-year-old named Layton, and my favorite Pokemon is Greninja. If you go to my YouTube channel, Shuriko Revived Unleashed, you will see that Greninja is all over it. And he asks for us to give him a shout out. That was several weeks ago, so sorry we didn't get to you this couple episodes ago, but we're giving you a shout out.
Here's your shout.
There it is.
Yep. And then he ends it with, at least promise me that the podcast will keep on going, because it is what makes me happy to listen to every Thursday.
Well, look, we're 9 episodes in. We're not stopping now.
I hope he's we planned every episode. We will just go in planning to make this kid happy.
Just talking. Yep. I mean, now I feel like we need to drop a Greninja mention. Mention. Like
Greninja. I hope this listener was very happy when Detective Pikachu just came out with all the Greninja.
A lot of Greninja.
So much Greninja.
And freaky bad guys too.
Yeah.
I know. Justice for Greninja.
Christian, let's go. Let's do one more.
Okay. This one came this week. And it was, I stumbled across this podcast recently and have been hooked ever since. It has very intelligent and engaging conversation while making sure to keep me laughing and entertained. The hosts work well together. I especially like the Pokemon facts at the end. Overall, this is definitely a must-listen to for Pokemon fans.
I see you.
So yeah,
that was a self-serving review that you picked there. I see what you did. That's fine.
So I noticed you didn't say who wrote it. Was it Seahawk or Seabus?
Yeah. It was Dark Type Trainer 410. Ooh. Hey, listen, the end of every single one of these reviews is like the Pokefacts are awesome.
That's what I said. That's what we call. That's why I introduced it as the fan favorite segment of the podcast.
Also, no pressure, Hoffer, but if you ever mess up, we will come for you.
I
Or
know.
if you give us a really shitty one,
like a really lame fact. Did you guys know that Charizard, if you Charizard's tail goes out, it dies?
Ah, really?
Oh yeah.
You got
Did
two
know that,
Pokemon facts this week.
Look
One
at that.
great
Yeah,
one
there
and
you go.
one.
A bonus one.
Take a bonus for the road.
All right, we need to get out of here. So if you want your chance to win a Comicbook.com t-shirt, head on over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, write us something nice. We'll read it on air, and then we'll send it out to you. Mm-hmm. This was a good week. Yeah. We're gonna have, I think we'll have another good week coming up.
Yeah,
So
I'll be gone next week.
Megan is going to be gone at Anime Expo next week.
I'll be at Anime Expo
man.
dying, but I will also be watching Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution.
Right. And then so we'll talk about that in 2 weeks.
Yes, the voice
Yeah.
actor for Pikachu will be there, as well as the producer and director. So
Ooh,
look
Did
at
you
there,
get an
look at
interview
there.
lined up yet?
Yeah, so I'm excited.
that'll be fun. We'll have to find someone else to sit in the seat next week.
No
All
one
right.
can replace me.
Well, you know where to.
Oh, that laugh was
get the
either
Detective
really
Pikachu
encouraging
line.
or
There.
he absolutely does not believe me.
Well, folks, you know where to find us. Same place, same time, every Thursday. We'll see you next week.